Hey guys, JC Smith here. Well, we got the culvert pipe in. Started doing a little bit more grading on the driveway here. Trying to widen it out over here a little bit. And over here, we keep making this driveway bigger and bigger. Makes it easier to get trucks in. We had a low spot right here. And you can see the difference in material here. A low spot there, and this used to kind of round out. Used to come up this way and kind of round out. You can almost see that. And this way was the same way. I just went ahead and cut it off. Cut it off straight here. Oh, that same truck, the tow truck driver, I forgot to mention, when he brought in a truck before that one that screwed our culvert pipe in, he brought one in and was backing in from this part of the road here, and I had a gate just like this on that post. He ran the truck this way and turned his truck at the tow truck itself into this gate and folded it like an accordion and broke off. This is how hard he hit it. There's the broken off hinge. That's what he did to it. So, needless to say, we just tow our own stuff now. I've had enough with the tow truck drivers around here, you know. But, so we're doing this, and the township showed up about 10 o'clock. Of course, it rained all morning. And they were able to get this dug out. And they got our ditch dug out all the way down here to the end of the property, which I don't know if you can tell how far that is. It's a really, really long distance down there, but they dug all this out, and we got to putting. I was here helping do this stuff to help beat the rain, and we got this culvert pipe in, the two of them. We got them literally set in the dirt, and they used a backhoe to do this with a ditch bucket, and their backhoe quit moving forward. The transmission, there was a problem. The transmission wouldn't go forward, wouldn't go back, and he shut it off, and it wouldn't start. So they were going to call a local company to come out, and they wanted us to drag it in the driveway. So while they were making their phone calls, I just grabbed the skid steer and I took all the material and went ahead and, you know, filled it in, finished it up. It turned out pretty good. I was able to cut off. There was a really high spot here from back in the day. I did this about, I don't know, 8 years ago. And at that time, all I had was I think I had an 8-end tractor with a scraper blade. Maybe I had a box. I might have had a box blade. But regardless, whatever I had, it didn't have teeth. So I always had a really high spot here that was like 6 or 8 inches higher than out there. So seeing how we're going to redo this, I went ahead and took the skid steer, and I have a smooth bucket, so that wasn't exactly easy, but I peeled that high spot off. It's got enough that the water will drain that way and not drain all the way down the driveway, but it'll work out. So anyways, I got this all done, and they're waiting on the service guy to come out and look at their backhoe. And I said, well, you know, if you guys don't care, if you want, I'll take a look at it and see what we can figure out. Long story short, I was able to jump it and get it to start, but it still wouldn't move forward and back. But the ignition was on, the instrument cluster was on, so I started looking around, and what had happened is the fuse for the transmission controller had blown. So obviously it didn't know, it couldn't start because it didn't know if it was in neutral or not. So I replaced the fuse, and instead of using it was a 10 amp fuse, and they drove it here. They didn't bring it on trailers, so they had like 6 miles to drive it. So I put a circuit breaker in for them, so hopefully they'd make it all the way home. So yeah, the township was here long enough to, luckily they were able to get all that dug out, because filling all this in, you know, this isn't rocket science. And like I said, it turned out pretty well. Things are draining a little bit better. Not great. I mean, I'm at the high spot on this road, so it's not gonna drain right. Basically, this road right here goes east and west, and right in the center of my property is the high point that goes. So it's going to drain east or west. It needs to go east, but there's just not enough fall. There's a couple high spots in here, but I don't know if you can see that, but it's moving, which is more than it was doing when the tow truck driver ripped it out of there. You know, one of the things I forgot to mention was when he stopped out here, when the tow truck driver had the ICC bumper into that, and I told him, stop, you're hitting that. Well, the first thing he did was drop the front of his truck. And when he did, of course, it raised the culvert pipe. And that's really what pulled the thing up, because where he was, when he dropped the front of it, it raised the back up about, I'm going to tell you, 3 or 4 feet. So, but anyhow, it turned out pretty good. Getting better. Got a little room. We can get the campers in and out easier. But anyways, we're trying to get things handled before all the rain. We have a flash flood warning until Friday at 11 a.m. So, and this is my old skid steer. This is nothing special, just a 2010 John Deere 318D. You know, decent machine. I bought it used. I got a couple thousand hours on it now. Bought the machine. You know, around here, I've had this thing for, say, it was 2 years old when I got it, so I've had it for 5 years or so. And around here, for what I paid for that, it was a fairly good deal. And I've had John Deere skid steers, and I've had Bobcats, and I think the biggest Bobcat I had was a 873, an older one. And then I went to a John Deere 260, which I think was an 05 or an 06. And then I went to a John Deere 320, which I think was an 07, if I'm not mistaken. And if I can remember right, the John Deere 320, which was the generation before this one, it would lift 3,200 pounds. Well, when I bought this one, it was a pretty good price, but the 318D it lifts 1,800 pounds, so it's a little bit smaller. Well, it's quite a bit smaller than what we used to have, but you know what I use it for has changed now too, so I don't use it for as much heavy stuff. But anyways, it graded us out pretty well. We got some tree roots here to deal with. We'll have to cut them out. But I went back to get more material. I have 20 tons of 304 up in that ditch. I mean, it's not that the ditch is this deep. It's just that from basically this side of the ditch to the road is like 6 feet wide. It takes a lot of material, but it packs in pretty good. So hopefully, we got that rain coming. It'll wash it all in, get it packed in real good. I don't want to take anything in it. The other camper, Lakeside Ranch, was asking about this. The other camper that was here, one of the other reasons I was moving is because we sold that thing, and I didn't know exactly when they were coming to get it, so I didn't want to take a chance to have to go across this, and on the off chance that it's not packed well or something, it gets stuck and drag it. So I moved it down to the other house, so whenever they're ready they can pick it up. So hopefully that'll be pretty soon, because I hate when people pay us for stuff, and because they've paid us 100% for it. I hate when they pay you for something and it's here, because if anything happens to it, well, I feel responsible, So anyhow, I'd like to get it out of here and all that. But I'm gonna leave you with that. It turned out pretty well. Pretty happy with the progress. So anyways, guys, like I always say, if you like what we're doing, give us these thumbs up. We appreciate it. Leave your comments below, and don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe, because it don't cost you a dime.